Hey everybody, Aaron Zamzow from Fire Rescue Fitness. Today I'm not in the gym, I'm in the kitchen because we're going to talk about that one thing that's probably even more confusing than working out, and that's dieting and nutrition. Look, I just did a lot of research on diets. If you do a Google search, my gosh, you're going to find 400 different diet plans. Eat this, don't eat that, keto this, paleo that. There's just so much information out there. And of course, when you sit around the firehouse table in the morning, we solve all of the world's problems, and everybody obviously has an opinion on dieting, just like they do everything else. But really, when it comes down to dieting, there are two things and two reasons why certain diet plans work, and two things that you can actually do without even following a diet to help clean up your nutrition. So first, let's talk about why diets seem to work. First of all, most diet plans, whether it be the diet of the week or a paleo diet or cabbage soup diet, whatever it might be, a lot of times they work because they restrict calories in. And when you restrict calories in and you wind up burning more calories than you ingest, you will lose weight. By telling you can or can't eat certain foods, which most diet plans do, that restricts typically your caloric intake. So that's why a lot of them work. Now, one of the other things that diets do, though, is they get you to think about what you're eating. If you're following a particular plan, obviously there are certain foods that you can and should not be eating to follow that plan. So before you eat, you take a moment to think, is this what I'm supposed to be eating? And I think that pause sometimes really helps our body and our mind and our stomach kind of disconnect. So we start to think about eating more for a fuel or for a process than an emotional response or emotional reason. So now let's talk about the two things then that we all can do or should be doing to improve our nutrition without even dieting. And this is kind of what I think all diet plans have in common, and what you can follow even without following a particular way. And the first thing, before we even get into the meat and potatoes, let's say, of dieting, and is to stay hydrated. That's the first step in cleaning up your nutrition. Make sure you have enough water. That's hydration with water, by the way, in your system, because water helps with every digestive process. It helps lubricate your joints. It actually helps to improve performance, or it can help improve cognitive function as long as you're well hydrated. Well hydrated athletes also, or firefighters, also have a lower chance of sudden cardiac arrest and stroke. So first thing is make sure that you are drinking enough water throughout the day. That can also combat a lot of those hunger pains that you get sometimes. It's because you're dehydrated. So aim for half of your body weight in ounces of water a day, more if you work in hotter climates or you've had a call where you're in your gear for a long period of time. This is of the utmost importance, and I think this is the first thing that we all need to do, whether you're following a diet plan or not. Make sure that you stay hydrated. Now, the second thing, and this goes back to why diets are effective. Again, I mentioned earlier that a lot of times you have to think about the food before you eat it. Well, that actually makes a lot of sense, and you don't necessarily have to follow a diet plan to do that. What I recommend to athletes that I work with is to, again, number one, hydrate, but number two, calculate what you're actually eating throughout the day. Start to measure your food, figure out serving sizes, start to read labels. A lot of times when members or people that I work with start to read labels, they discover added sugars. They discover how small a serving size might be, and that actually leads to, it takes a lot of mystery out of things, number one, and number two, really starts to educate you. I've had so many people come to me and say, I never realized that cereal was only a third a cup. I was eating 3 servings when I thought I was eating 1. And of course, that then adds calories, which can then lead to weight gain over time. So slow things down before you eat. Take a moment to measure out your serving sizes, whether it be a cup or a teaspoon, even with salad dressings, and really educate yourself on what a serving size is. Read labels. figure out and calculate how many grams of sugar you're actually eating a day. How many calories do you normally get? Now, it's not an exact science, but it'll give you an idea, again, of where you are sitting. It'll help you educate yourself on what's in the foods you eat. Now, I didn't say anything about making better choices. A lot of times when we discover what we're eating, it's very obvious what we need to do or changes we need to make to improve. And those are really the first two things that I'll leave with you. Start drinking more water and figure out exactly what you're eating. As far as like calculating calories and grams and of protein and fat and everything, I like to use apps for it. There are a lot of different free apps, MyFitnessPal, Calorie King, that can really help you, discover your actual calorie intake and what you're eating throughout the day. Again, this all goes back to another major point, which is educating yourself. I've had a lot of requests to say, just tell me what I need to eat. Well, that's great for only a certain period of time, but for your career as a first responder, you need to understand what works for you, what you should be eating, and educate yourself on what are in foods. That's going to go a long ways for career longevity, help with your performance, help with injury management, and help with your mental health also. And then that you can transfer on to your crew and your family, and that makes you or will make you a better first responder.